Hey, what's up? It's Symphony here. Subscribe to my brother Mr. Creepy as Hell channel, and when you're watching his videos, make sure you stay in one piece. Peace, peace, peace.
My time as a police officer, I've seen a lot of things. People who committed domestic violence, dead bodies, active shooters, you name it. But there was something that I witnessed that I don't think nobody can really explain. It's not even logical. I try to look for logical ways to try to understand this, but it just doesn't click. And no matter how I try to normalize this. So this happened a year ago. I received a word from one of the 911 operators about a distress call from a guy who lives next door to an apartment that's supposed to be abandoned and vacated. But the guy that made the 911 call said that he heard some noises inside the apartment. First it was screaming, then some growling or something like that. After I got the report, I made my way over there to the apartment complex, and I personally talked to the guy who made the complaint. After he gave me all the information I needed, I went next door to the apartment where he claims he heard the noises and the screaming. I was able to open the door despite people telling me that it was supposed to be locked. When I opened the door and I looked around, I didn't see much of anything. It was an empty apartment. It was dark. I looked around the apartment and, like I said, nothing showed any signs of break-in or anything. I was about to leave when I heard some footsteps running into the bathroom. I immediately ran in to see what was happening, but when I went in the bathroom, I didn't see anyone. After I left the bathroom, I looked inside both of the rooms inside the apartment, and I didn't see anything abnormal or strange or nothing that would have caused any alarm for illegal activity. After I looked around the entire apartment, I decided to leave. As I was heading towards the front door, I stopped abruptly, and my heart began to beat rapidly, and I began to sweat despite having chills run its course all over my body. Standing right in front of me was a woman who was holding her decapitated head. I'm not even joking. I flipped out and I fell to the ground. The woman came closer towards me with the decapitated head, and then the head opened up its eyes, and then it let out an ear-piercing scream. This had to have been the scream that the guy next door heard. When it let out the scream, I felt very ill. I tried to hurry and get out, but the woman or whatever it was looked at me, and then some unseen force pushed me down to the ground. It felt like I was being pinned to the ground by invisible hands. I tried to move and get up, but I couldn't. The woman kept on screaming as she then squatted on the floor and started coming at me like a spider. I called out for help, but it felt like no one was coming, and the woman kept on screaming real loud while holding her head, decapitated head, while crawling at me. I kept on screaming out for help until finally the door to the apartment opened and the woman just randomly just disappeared into thin air. After my fellow officers helped me, I was able to recover, and I told them about what happened. They didn't believe me at first, but then another officer told me about the history of that apartment. Apparently a woman was living there with her boyfriend, and one day her boyfriend got violently drunk and began to harm her. He got so violent that he managed to chop off her head with an axe. This happened about 20 years ago. Her body was discovered 2 days later after the boyfriend went on the run, but to this day they never could find the boyfriend. I wanted to act like everything was alright, but what I went through really disturbed me, and I felt like if I ever went to investigate another place that was supposed to be abandoned, the same thing may happen again. I didn't realize it, but it affected me mentally to the point where I decided to quit the police force and do something better. 5 years later, I actually own a little small restaurant, something I always dreamed of, and I'm much more happier. To that woman that I encountered, I'm sorry that you went through all that. I just hope you're able to rest in peace.